Hello, welcome back. Now you have added the whole column. Let's try some simple formulas. I'm taking sum, count, and average as examples. 3 ways to do it, from lamest to coolest. Here's the thing about Excel. You start with the lame way, is just to understand how things work. Now you finish with the coolest way, the fastest way, and you will never look back again. So lame way. Select the cell where you want the results to appear. Go to Formula menu, see Auto Sum function. Click on the icon, you can see the numbers above this cell in that table has been selected in the formula. See the formula here, equal sum, parenthesis, I13 to I31. Enter, you got the result. For average and count, click the drop down menu, select the average. You also see the range has been selected, but the range is wrong. So it includes the total value. So we need to manually change the range to I31. Then enter. Same thing with count. Just the range to I31 and enter. Second way is manually type in formula. Just type in equal sum. You can see a dynamic list of the formula Excel thinks you are looking for. And you can either type in open bracket yourself, or you can use up or down arrow to select the formula you want and press tab when the cursor is on the formula name you want. If you are not taking my course, you are likely to use mouse to choose right formula instead of selecting formula with keyboards and press tab. You will know if a person is a proficient Excel user by these little things, because proficient users don't use mouse that much. After you have the opening bracket, use arrow key to select the range up, and Control Shift up. You are selecting this column in the table. You don't want to include the header, so Shift down arrow. Now you have selected the correct range. So closing bracket and enter. Exactly the same procedure with average and count formula. You may think this method is more complicated than the first one. Then why this one is better? Because for one, you build a very good foundation for other formulas, because you are practicing the shortcuts along the way, and you will know what I'm talking about later when you practice that more often. And two, when you have very large data set, using mouse is not efficient enough. If you have dealt with large data sets before, you will know how using mouse and clicking on the numbers, scrolling up and down, not only increase the chances of error, but also slow things down. Okay, now let's look at the third way, which is the coolest way. Just selecting the cell and Alt equal and enter and done. It's equivalent of clicking on the auto sum function. Unfortunately, there is no shortcut for average and count function, but frankly, I use sum function a lot more frequently. After you are done, you can check your result by selecting these data range and looking at the status bar. Compare these just to make sure you didn't make any error. After you have the first column ready, you can either use autofill, but I prefer use the shortcuts. Selecting all 3 results and hold Shift, right arrow, Control R, and apply the same formula. There are 3 ways to apply simple formulas. We talk about go to menu and insert function over there, and we then talk about manually write your formulas, and finally we'll talk about Alt equal, which is a shortcut for auto sum function. Alright, so see you in the next lecture.